Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Baron here. So the dev server for patch 1.35 is open, and this is 1.35.28. I believe there's been 3 iterations, this being the 3rd, and I have missed one of them. So right now we're kind of in queue for this new feature, the events. And I'm waiting in my Bf109E-1, the new tier 5 German Emil Messerschmitt here. And something pretty interesting is we're going to be flying the Battle of Britain. And I want you to look at this British tree. Not that it would matter, because supposedly there has been a flight model change, but there are no bow fighters that you're allowed to fly. This is all low-tiered goodness. The highest on the German team being the E1, and then the highest on the British team being the Spitfire Mark IIA, the 2 new Tier 5. So this seems to be a Tier 5 limited game. Now it looks like the queue has taken a while, but on the dev server the population base is low. I cannot see through this right now, but regardless, this is what it would be like, and you would see, obviously there's some things being worked out, as it seems to be more people in the queue than, I don't really know what that's all about. I think place and player. We got a bit of a wait time here, but I think this is going to be a very exciting feature. You know the aircraft that you're going to be going up against, and you know the aircraft that you can play. You can fly anyway from your bottom tiered planes up to your higher tiered ones, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun, because I've found in historical battles that if you are kind of shying away from historical battles, or you're not really certain if you're going to really enjoy them, the lower tiered aircraft are a lot of fun. And this will definitely be an exciting new feature. So if I ever get in, we will check it out. But we can basically expect, this is kind of these events, and if you look over here, we'll cancel out real quick. Now, the one that's currently available is the Battle of Britain, and it specifies which planes you can fly. Then there's Calcling Goal, and it looks like all aircraft are available from all nations. Not entirely sure. Then there's the Battle of Kuban, and it shows you which aircraft you can fly. This is kind of a middle to higher tier, Germany versus Russia. Then we have the African Canyon. Look, there are a few forbidden aircraft. This is interesting. For the most part, rather, you can play anything from a lot of different nations. Really kind of cool to see. And then you got the Battle of Midway, and we got the Japanese with just a few choices going up against the Americans with a little more. But you can see even certain aircraft are capped, like this B-17. Only 2 are allowed. Only 3 PBYs and only 2 TBF dive bombers are allowed maximum on a team. So if you queue up and there's already 2 B-17s in your in a B-17, you'd probably go to the next game. Or if there's multiple games that can be queued up at a time, but say in your squad and you're all B-17s, not all of you are going to be able to go into that. Not entirely sure all the intricacies and inner workings of this. All I know is I'm so excited for this game mode, as it's kind of a godsend. Arcade is fun, historical battles are fun, I'm starting to play full real battles more, but this is almost like its own entirely. And I think that you can create your own current event, or your own event with friends, I believe, and you can set a lot of different options. You can set the mode. Like, you could play arcade mode. You could have arcade mode style flight models and flying in an arcade experience, save for one thing, and that being you're limited in the amount of aircraft you can use. Like historical battle, you could be flying around an arcade with only 1 plane available, only 1 life. Pretty exciting things. So you kind of get, it's basically a bridge between arcade and historical battles. So I wonder if you could also do historical battle gameplay with more lives. I'm not entirely sure, but needless to say, once this becomes patched into the game, I'm going to be experimenting around with it quite a bit. But this is definitely a welcomed feature within the game. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Baron here, and I am flying the Bf109E-1. So we'll take a look at the cockpit. I'm not sure if it's just me, but I feel like there's a higher level of detail in the cockpits. We also have yellow wingtips. No, we don't. But overall, pretty awesome. Gorgeous canopy, everything like that. Stuff you're used to if you fly the Emil in historical battle or full real battles. So we're going to listen to the 7.92s from within the cockpit. So from what you can tell by following the muzzle flashes is we have 2 in the nose and 2 in the wings. And I do believe we have 3,000 rounds split between 4 guns, or 750 rounds per gun. And I'm on the event Britain, and it looks like, given that there's not too many people on the dev server, that it's kind of 1v1 in a bunch of AI planes. And so since we're over Britain, the German ground forces are moving in to take out this airfield and capture it. And then we can be bombing A. Look at that fleet. Looks like a bunch of destroyers. So I'm wondering who my opponent is. Also, when I used to fly historical battles, or basically even still, when you look at my column, you can tell, basically, looking at the enemy team, there's no longer the little plane indicators. So I don't know what he is, which is kind of exciting in a way. And basically, experienced pilots, myself included, learned how to identify what planes you were fighting by looking at the icons. And those are no longer available in historical battle. So that is pretty interesting. But here's the E1. I'm really enjoying the skin. Another new feature that has been added on the dev server and will likely go through to patch is that you can preview the skins of the aircraft before you buy them, which is obviously a good feature. You know, learn what you're buying before you spend the golden eagles on it. And here we have the beautiful white cliffs of Dover. Looks like we have Dover here, and it's turned into a naval facility for the Kriegsmarine right now. And there is our friend Ook in a Spitfire. And let's see where he's headed. I'm wondering what Spitfire he is. He's either the Mark 1 or the Mark 2A. Mark 2A is that new Tier 5. And the Mark 1. Now, I do not want... I have less firepower than him, and I'm also not nearly as good of a turn fighter as him. So I have to use the advantages inherent to the 109 to basically allow myself to prevail over my enemy here. And wow, look at that little train of AI. And he unfortunately probably just broke his wings. So what's now to be done is mop-up duty on some AI biplanes, which is a shame. But right now, just keep in mind that this I queued up for an event, which is a new feature, which is really, really cool. So, and that allows you to basically get an idea of the aircraft. We're kind of going really fast, aren't we? Got some hits. Zoom away. We don't want to get in a turn fight with biplanes, even though they're AIs, and we'd probably be fine. Although I've heard tales of people getting killed by the biplanes. But this is just mop-up duty, so we'll talk a little bit about the E1. There's a lot of kind of skepticism on how good this aircraft is going to be, given its seemingly small armament. Looks like that guy's got some holes in his wings. Aircraft destroyed. And there is a good old Fury. Boom! That's right. So, we're dead. But the E1, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays. Seeing as my opponent ran out. I've killed many an AI plane in my time. We just had the compulsion to be honorable. E1 though, only for 7.92. So what are your thoughts? Do you like it? Do you think it's undergunned? Or do you think, given the amount of ammunition you have for each gun and the fact that the 7.92s have a pretty decent rate of fire, that they should be adequate at their tier, or should they be bumped down to tier 4? But that was just a little quick clip on the Bf109E-1. There will be more E1 footage once the game is patched, and then I'll be testing out and trying out and comparing the E1 with the Mark IIA and other tier 5s and 4s to kind of get a feel of whether it should be at tier 4 or not. Anyway, I'm Baron, and as always, thank you for watching. When our bombs hit, look at that. Those bombs took out half the damage. Now I'm going to fast forward real quick to after I reload and make another pass. Alright, so we're making another pass, and this time we are going to follow our bombs down and kind of get a closer look at this target, which seems to be a military base. You can see little tank traps, trenches, tents, and all kinds of things.